Is Rey a Mary Sue? A lot of people were saying yes because in Star Wars The Force Awakens, we were introduced to this character, Rey, the scavenger from Jakku, and she picked up on a lot of abilities that for regular folks like you and I, even if we have a little bit of force sensitivity, seem to be pretty hard to grasp. In the movie, she figured out how to fly the Millennium Falcon. She defended herself pretty damn well. And as the film went on, she discovered her force abilities. She also was able to mind control James Bond at one point in the film. And she was able to defeat Kylo Ren, who has training from Luke Skywalker, of all people, in the climax of the film. But as a result of this, people were saying Rey's a Mary Sue. Now, those of you who don't know what a Mary Sue is, we're going to get into that right now. But the discussion will be, is Rey a Mary Sue? And we're going to tell you all the reasons why Rey is not a Mary Sue. And before you sit there and say, oh, it's a couple of Star Wars fanboys defending the series, no, these are going to be legitimate points that we're going to get to. Let me introduce who's going to be here joining me for this one. Please welcome, from Urban Acolytes, he's been here before, Prince, the leader of the Urban Acolyte Army.
What's up?
Let's talk about it. So do me a favor, man, and tell the people the definition of what a Mary Sue is.
All right. So in video game speak, she would be OP or overpowered, or she'd be a tank mage for you old heads out there.
Wow, you're taking me back. Yeah, I mean, the way that I always interpret it, I mean, if you look at the Wikipedia definition, it's an idealized and seemingly perfect fictional character, young or low rank, who saves the day through unrealistic abilities. And for females, it's usually Mary Sue, and for guys, it's Gary Stu, but you can
Gary
call
Stu.
you can call a guy Mary Sue as well. So pretty much what people were saying, Prince, bro, is that in Force Awakens, Rey was able to tap into the Force and do and commit these Force abilities and call upon the Force seemingly at will. And people were having a hard time buying it. And I think the reason why is because when you compare her to Luke Skywalker in A New Hope, it took him time to learn these things. Rey was able to, grab the lightsaber from the ice, just do all these things that seem to be a little unrealistic for her character. But there's a number of reasons as to why she's probably not a Mary Sue. And I think the first one that I want to get into with you is the fact that we don't even know her background and who she is. She, one of the popular theories that I saw coming up that I actually agree with for a while, I don't know about right now, is that she is either a Skywalker or a Kenobi that had her memory erased. And if you have your memory erased, one thing I want to make clear to everybody, I know you have talked about this before, and you'll probably talk about it again, is that your mind and your instincts are not the same thing. See,
Right.
like if you're an animal in the jungle, right, you're going to naturally survive. There have been scientific, studies done on this. So even if you may be like brain dead, you still have, you're still going to breathe and do acts that your body will, naturally do. So even if she had her memory wiped, if that's what really happened, then she might still have the ability to be a Force user. She may have training that we don't know about.
Right.
That's one thing as well. So I think the fact that we don't even know who she really is. She might be a legitimate prodigy, not unlike Anakin Skywalker, who was even younger than her and doing crazy stuff like blowing up the Trade Federation ship without even knowing what he was doing. So
Right.
this is not the first time we've seen this in Star Wars, as far as prodigies go.
Right. Right. And I think people forget, like when Luke blew up the Death Star, I don't believe it was a lucky shot. I've always had the opinion that he literally guided that proton missile into the Death Star. Like I literally believe that. So it's like, oh, he fired a lucky shot because I think he literally used the Force. I have mixed feelings about the whole memory wipe thing. We got that from, that's what happened with Revan. But there are a number of fan speculations where that involve maybe Rey was a Padawan, or she was intended to become a Padawan of the new Jedi Order. I want to kind of reference the Ahsoka Tano novel because there's a little girl, Hedalith Fardy, Fardis, because I guess
Yeah,
people always think I'm saying farting.
not farting.
And I think she was playing with the cubes, or she was playing with toys, and she's moving them around, using telekinesis. So I think that at some point in time, Ray, probably when she was a child, was using these force abilities, and she just forgot about them, because that's what Ahsoka said would happen with Hedala. She said nobody will be around to train her. She'll forget about them and go on with her life. I think that may have been written there so we could read that into Ray as, oh, well, when she was a little kid, she had these force abilities. Yeah, I mean, most likely she forgot about she ever had any kind of force abilities while she was stranded on Jakku, living with these different foster families and being a scavenger.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that we don't really know her background, so to call her a Mary Sue, I think, is a little premature. Now, the other thing that I noticed you mentioned on your videos is the fact that she has, regardless of the Force or not, because she's been on her own, which Luke was not. Luke had Uncle Owen and Beru. She has developed survival skills that even other people, had trouble. Like, she's developed survival skills that most of us will never understand from being alone and, like you said, facing against these strange aliens on Jakku. She obviously
Right.
knows how to use that staff pretty damn well, and she's obviously piloted some ships in her past. So,
Right. Right.
yeah, elaborate on that one.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I'm sitting here at my desk and I have Ray's survival guide open. The very first page, it says, "My name is Ray. I've been here my whole life scratching out a living with the lost and the broken. I don't know how I got here or why, but I know it was a mistake and somebody out there will make things right someday." And in her little, this is the first time I'm going to say this, but in her at house, because I prefer AT-AT, she
Same thing.
had a flight simulator. And I mean, think about if you like playing games, and this is the only video game she has. All she's doing is flying, doing simulators on these like TIE fighters. She's flown the Corellian, YT, whatever the Millennium Falcon is. She piloted that ship. If you read Before the Awakening, she repaired a ship from like scratch, built it and flew it. Her plan was to sell it to Unkar Plutt, but the other two scavengers that helped her, as soon as she got off to negotiate a deal to get more rations, they were like, "Holler at you, Ray," and they flew off and left Jakku. Because who wants to be there on this shithole planet? So
Yeah.
she has built the ship, she has flown ships, she's trained on simulators, and if you read The Princess, the Scoundrel, and the Farm Boy, when Luke first arrives on Yavin 4, he like gets the high score for flight simulators, so he has to qualify to fly in the Battle of Yavin to blow up the Death Star. And the person who had the previous high score, Wedge Antilles. So all of this
Yes,
stuff that's
indeed.
being reintroduced into this expanded canon that Disney is creating, this new narrative, it's like showing, oh, this is how people qualify. And so it's like, well, Ray's done everything that other people before her have done, and she's been put in these situations where she's excelled in the training phase. And now in the Force Awakens, it's like the party. This is her coming out party. She hasn't really been tested. She's just been put in situations where she's already had success in the past.
Yeah, and that's the thing is she's okay. Is she a little bit OP? Maybe. I'll give them this one. I will give them this one. We gotta be fair here. She knows engineering.
Yep.
Obviously, she knows how to pilot things. She knows how to fight. She is pretty much bred to be a Jedi, right? She's bred to be a hero. So in some ways, yes, she may be a little bit of a Mary Sue, but there's an explanation for it, and that's because she had to survive. And that's not even talking about like we talked about like the fact that she may be a child of the force. Well, we know she's a child of the force, but she may
Yeah.
be like have her memory web. We don't know that. We're gonna find out probably in episode 8. Now,
Yeah.
the big finale I want to address is her fight with Kylo Ren. A lot of people were saying that it didn't make any sense that Finn, who was trained as a stormtrooper since birth pretty much, and we know from the visual dictionary that the stormtroopers in the First Order some of them were trained in lightsaber combat or lightsaber defensive skills just in case they ever ran into a Jedi. Even though they were extinct, they were still trained that way. Even though they may have been trained from when the Jedi Order was being rebuilt by Luke, we don't really know the timetable yet. But Finn had some lightsaber training. He fights Kylo Ren. He loses, but Rey wins. One has to take into account, Prince, man, that number one, Kylo Ren just got shot with a crossbow in like his rib cage, all right? He should be dead, and my boy survived that one. Number two, Kylo Ren just killed his father, so who knows what's growing through his head, and we're going to discuss that in another video probably about Kylo Ren's mentality during that fight. And number three, she has experience fighting. He does too, but he never completed his training with Luke. A lot of people were saying, oh man, how can somebody who's trained by Luke Skywalker lose to a scavenger who has no training? Well, he never finished his training. He went to the dark side, which is why right after that fight, Snoke says, I'm going to complete your training. His training's not even complete yet. He is not even close to being what Vader was. He's on his way. He's on his way, but he's not quite there. Do you have anything to add to that when we dissect that final fight?
Yeah, I do, because the visual guide refers to Kylo Ren as the Jedi killer. And I've always looked at that, like, I know Pablo wrote it, and I wish, like, I could sit down and say, Pablo, how did he actually kill the Jedi? Because in Rey's Force back vision, those aren't rocks that are around Kylo and the Knights of Ren. Those were supposed to be the dead bodies of Luke's other Padawans.
Yeah, which actually, I have a weird suspicion there's more to that scene than meets the eye, but we'll get to that some other time.
Yeah, I do too. But you know, so there's the question, how did he actually kill them? Now, the visual guide says it was his skill at lightsaber combat that earned him that nickname, that he wiped them out. I don't want to say too much because we're going to talk about Kylo Ren and his mentality and whatnot. I do want to say this, though, and I keep teasing this video. I probably need to go and record it tonight about Finn and the lightsaber scenes that were cut out from the first cut. But I'm convinced that the outcome of that fight was not the way it was originally intended. I think that Finn was going to be injured, but Rey was going to fight Kylo Ren to a draw, and then Starkiller Base would have gone kaput, and Chewie would have had to come in to rescue him.
Yes, actually, I do remember reading. You're absolutely on point. I do remember reading that too. Yeah, that was how it's going to be. It was going to be a draw, which actually it somewhat was a draw, but they made it seem like she really kind of did win. So it was a draw leaning towards her. But I do remember reading that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's one of the things that Rian Johnson had to go back and handle during the rewrites is, well, now you got Kylo Ren getting his face slashed open, and I thought he got his lightsaber, his hilt cut in half. I can't tell if he did or didn't. Since going from the props that I've seen from Episode 8, it doesn't look like his lightsaber was destroyed. But
or he may have a backup.
Yeah, or he built another one that's also broken. Well, we don't know if it's unstable or not. He could have fixed it.
Who knows? But I like it being unstable because it reflects his character.
Yeah.
So let us know your comments down below, folks. Do you think Rey's a Mary Sue? Even if you do think that she is, tell us why. I mean, again, I can somewhat understand her maybe being a little bit too OP, but I think that there will be an explanation in Episode 8. And also, like we talked about, the supplemental material tells us that she is a survivor. So we've pretty much explained all of our points in this video. Are there any points that you feel that we missed? Please let us know in the comments. Either way, it doesn't matter because there's been tons of popular characters who are Gary Stews and Mary Sues. It ain't nothing new. We've seen it for years, you know, so I don't think she is. Prince doesn't think that she is. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And check out Urban Acolytes. I'll put a link to his channel down below. Thank you for being here, bro.
Love being here. Can't wait to be back.
We'll talk to y'all later.